Hi everyone. Here's my reflection video for the week. It's about my post experience at BAFA BAFA. And BAFA BAFA is a cultural stimulation that participants going on the global internship program had to take and went to. So let's jump right in. The first question asks us, what was it like to participate in BAFA BAFA? And honestly, it was an interesting experience being able to emulate a culture unlike my own was very fun to do. I was able to take on the norms and the rules and regulations that govern another culture, and with a group of students, be able to just be like, this is us. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So the second question asks us to identify three takeaways from the Bafa Bafa cultural stimulation. And the first one that I thought of was the different perspectives that you get while while emulating another culture. So for those unfamiliar with the Bafa Bafa program, you basically become a part of another culture. And there's two different cultures, the alphas and the betas. And the betas, their culture is surrounded by, like, their aim is trade. So they don't speak English. They have cards that have numbers on them, and you're not really familiar with the rules because I was an alpha, but their goal is to win this game and nothing else matters. They're very competitive, honestly. And on the other hand, alphas, they really value relationships, family, friends, neighbors. Those are the things that their culture centers around. So it was unique to see the different perspectives and the different cultural norms that surround it. Um, the betas and the alphas. So those two differing perspectives was really unique. The second takeaway that I got from this stimulation was it is very important to be respectful of other cultures. While we did the stimulation, there was a lot of nervous laughs and awkwardness and things like that when we did the separate groups traveling to go observe the other culture, and it was really, it just seemed odd to me that we think that other cultures are odd, when in fact, like, the weirdness and the oddities, those types of things are actually customary for other cultures. It is not weird to them in their eyes. So it's very important to be respectful of other people's things, because if you come off as saying, "Oh, you do that. That's really weird." That's becomes very disrespectful. So it's very important to be respectful of other people's cultures, because saying something like that becomes disrespectful to someone's livelihood and to something that they do every day and that they don't see as being odd. The third takeaway that I got was that learning other cultures takes time. I won't necessarily know everything that's a must know upon stepping foot in South Africa. I won't know all the customs. Won't know all the norms. I won't know all the expectations surrounding life in South Africa. But it's something that I'm going to need to take a day at a time. South Africans have gone their whole lives learning that culture. I'm going to be there for a few weeks over the summer. There's no way that I'm going to know everything. So I can't just pump expectations and norms into my head it's something I want to have to learn, but not a lifetime of learning. It's just something I want to pick up, observing other people and knowing that doing this is respectful, doing that is not something you want to do again, because you're going to learn. It's a learning experience. The third question asks us, did anything about the cultural stimulation, BAFA BAFA, did anything about it surprise you? And there were a couple surprises that I discovered. The first one was that people ran with ideas. During this stimulation, we had a leader basically, and they initially went over to the other culture and they observed it and they reported back to us what they saw. And their observations came off as, man, they're weird. I like they're doing this, they're doing that. It's just weird. And collectively as a group, we we all like thought of the other culture as being weird, as what everything that they did that was opposite as us to be weird. And so I think the idea of running with an idea is a terrible way to go about, because you miss out on the learning experience, the the workings of another culture, because you become narrow minded into thinking what they're doing isn't right, what I'm doing is parallel to them, and it's not adding up. So I think that if you listen to someone say this culture isn't what I expected it to be, you're going to go into it thinking the same thing. But you as a person must take in by yourself and make your own opinions. And the second thing that really surprised me was that during our cultural exchanges, upon coming back, other students were like, "Oh, I missed you guys. Oh, I'm so relieved to be back." And it was just odd to know that these people only went over to the other culture for 5 minutes, and they thought it was just crazy everything that they were doing, and they were very defensive of a culture that they only had started emulating 20 minutes ago. It was mind-boggling how attached they came into playing a role. But collectively as a whole, everyone did it, so it was just you something to think about. And yeah, that was something that really surprised me, that people made expressions like that. The fourth question asks us, does this stimulation change how you might approach your internship? If so, how? And yes, it does change how I'm going to go about my internship. While we did our reflection and open discussion after the stimulation, I realized that you must to not disrespect somebody, and while asking about their culture, you have to not make a direct question like, why do you guys do this? Isn't that something weird? Like, you must like do a umbrella question to make a broader approach about what they value. And by doing that, it's general, but is not disrespectful. And I think that's something that I'm definitely going to take into my internship, working on being more open and having umbrella questions. And the fifth question is very like free response, and it asks us, do I have any recommendations for BAFA BAFA for the years to come? Any improvements, any recommendations, things of that nature. And I have two. I think the event should be shortened. 3 hours is a long time to stay engaged in all the activities going on. And then my second recommendation is to provide more information leading up to the event. I really felt uninformed about what we would be doing and things like that. So 15 minutes in, having that little rundown, it wasn't very clear that we would be emulating another culture and or the purpose of emulating, like what was the end goal of doing so. Um, so those are my reflections for this week. I'll be back with some more next week, and I'm still excited about going to South Africa. And I really enjoyed the BAFA BAFA stimulation. See you guys later.